department's efforts and your efforts as minister to provide applicants moving forward with greater certainty and with an exceptional client experience? Because of course these are the future Canadians.
That's right.
They're going to be making huge contributions to our country.
You're absolutely right. And look, thanks for framing it the way that you have. I think it's really important that we recognize that when we deal with the number of cases in our inventory, these are not numbers, they're human beings. When I talk to people who are trying to build a new life in Canada, trying to find an opportunity to work and support themselves, trying to be reunited with their families, these are the kinds of things that weigh on you when you realize that the pressures on the system have a really serious human impact on the people who we want to welcome. If we're going to solve this problem, we got to understand where the problem came from. He pointed to the COVID-19 pandemic. It really hampered our immigration system in two main ways. It shut down a lot of our offices around the world due to public health situations, sometimes within Canada, other times due to public health measures put in place all over the world. When that happened, not everywhere in the world has the ability to have their employees work from home due to internet connectivity, due to a lack of security over people's personal information. So we lost a lot of our horsepower as a department as a result of those public health measures. The second thing is that when the border was closed in Canada, imagine running an immigration system when the border was closed. We had to become creative and pivot towards resettling people who were already in Canada with a temporary status to bring them on as permanent residents. At the same time, applications kept coming in from all over the world for people who wanted to come to Canada. So we have essentially a couple of years worth of applications built up in the system. And if you layer on top of that the pressures on the system from our serious humanitarian response, first to Afghanistan and second to Ukraine, you realize we're asking an awful lot of the system. So that's where the challenges come from. But the good news is I'm seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. The answer to solve these challenges are really, I group them into three categories, if I can perhaps be a little bit imprecise. Resources, policy, and tech. On the resources side, we've added more than 500 new staff. You may have seen in the economic and fiscal update, $85 million towards study permits, work permits, TRVs, proof of citizenship documents, PR cards. You would have seen $385 million in the recent federal budget to go towards client service. These are the kinds of things that are going to start to have an impact. In addition, the policies that we need to adopt need to, make it easier for people to get here, but make it easier for more people to get here. The number one policy is our immigration levels plan. We're not going to chip away at the number of cases in the inventory if we don't expand the numbers. And lastly, tech, I talked about it during our conference today. The digital platform modernization is going to greatly increase the reliability and pace of our system. These measures are starting to have an impact. This year alone, a couple of weeks ago, we passed 200,000 permanent residents landed in Canada. This is more than a month and a half, faster than any other year that we've done. In 2016 was the fastest, more than a month and a half out of schedule. Work permits have almost a 250% increase compared to last year. When I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, we're on track right now to restore our pre-pandemic service standard by the end of this calendar year. For virtually every line of business, citizenship I expect to lag a little bit because we had a complete shutdown when we couldn't host in-person events before we pivoted to virtual citizenship ceremonies. But my sense is by the end of this calendar year, new applications coming in will actually have the kind of certainty that we will be able to meet the service standard. And people will be dealing with 60 days or 6 months or 12 months, not an undetermined period of time. And when people have that certainty, they can plan their lives around it, and we'll get back on track. It's good for Canada when we have that predictability and reliability, and as a result of the measures that we put in place, I have confidence that we're going to get there and get there before too long.